Well, good morning. No, this is not today's sit check. This is a special edition video. I just wanted to let you know I'm celebrating a big birthday today, and no, it's not my belly button birthday. It's my sobriety birthday. 13 years ago, July 20th, 2012, I started my new adventure on continuous sobriety, and it's been 13 years today. So 13 years ago yesterday, I was sitting on my couch just drunk as I could be, because that's what I was a drunk. Thought I was gonna die drunk, but God had other plans for me, and I decided to try to quit again. I had tried a bunch of times and couldn't do it. So on July 20th, 2012, I woke up and didn't have a drink. It was an amazing thing, because that's all I thought about was drinking. I had a drinking problem for years and years and years, probably starting from the first time I ever had a drink, which was when I was 15, and it was on champagne, and I drank too much. I got really drunk and I got sick, but you know what? I had a good time. I enjoyed it. It was sort of weird. From then on, I was 15 years old. After football games later on, I'd start drinking, and during high school, it just got worse. Heavy drinking a lot. And even got to where when I was a senior in high school, we'd go out and drink before school started. Just crazy. Then when I started college, it got even worse. So I spent my first 5 years of college in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and I got 1.5 years worth of credit in that 5 years. So I eventually moved back home, moved in with my mother, and finished up my college. It took me 7.5 years to get through college, but you know what? I made it. So it's been a story of mine that I've had good times and not so good times. Things would get better. I was always a heavy drinker, but things would get better, and then things would get worse. But I'd always weather the storm and think, well, it can't be that bad. Well, it was, and it took me a long time to really come to the realization that I had to do something about it. I was, first time I ever thought about trying to get help was when I was 23 years old. I knew I had an issue. I knew I drank too much. And I was in Tuscaloosa one night, and I called the Alcoholics Anonymous hotline to find out where a meeting was. And so they told me, and I finally went to a meeting 26 years later. It took me that long to finally realize I needed to do something about it. Like I said, during my career, my working career, things would be great. I was a functioning alcoholic. It was more on my personal side that things got bad. And so I was married my first wife. We ended up getting a divorce. Turned out both of us were alcoholics. We just didn't know it at the time. We knew we were both heavy drinkers. So the things got worse, then they got better, then they got worse. I mean, it's just been that way. And so I got remarried, had a couple of kids, and everything was rocking along really well. And then all of a sudden, it was like a switch flipped. And my heavy drinking went to heavier drinking, and I just really sort of went off the chain. It was really weird. I just decided I was doing well in my career, but I decided, you know what? I'm gonna change careers. So I did. It didn't work out. About 3.5 years later, it didn't work out for me. It worked out okay for my partners, but for me, most of it was actually related to my alcoholism, because I am an alcoholic, still am, and so I have to watch it. One thing I did learn during this whole process is that I'm selfish and self-centered. And so when I was going through all my stuff, all I was thinking about was me. I didn't care about anybody else. I didn't care what was going on around me. My wife and I ended up getting a divorce. So the alcohol just sort of messed all that up too. Got to the point where I didn't get to see my kids all the time. Not that she took them away from me legal-wise, but I was just a drunk. I couldn't take care of them. And she wasn't gonna let them be around me when I couldn't take care of them, that's for sure. They were young. I was an old man with young kids. So I rocked along for a couple more years, just not doing much of anything. I actually went a couple of years where I only worked about 100 hours a year. I couldn't do anything. All I did was wake up and drink. I was drinking about the equivalent of about 50 or more drinks a day. But I didn't drink drinks. I just drank straight out of the bottle. So I knew I had an issue, and I had known it for a long, long time. I just never did anything about it until I finally decided to try. And I started going to Alcoholics Anonymous. I was going 3 times a day for a while, for a long time, unless I was drinking. Then I'd get up and drink and not go to any meetings. I went to inpatient rehab, thought, oh, I'm cured. No, I wasn't. I just started drinking again. Less than 2 years later, I ended up back in the same inpatient rehab. It was helping me. It was making me think, making me learn about what the disease I have does to your here and here, your body and your mind. And so that still didn't work that time. And AA was helping me because it really was. I was listening to other people's stories thinking, that's sort of like me. So I tried and tried and tried. I spent 3 years in Alcoholics Anonymous just trying to get it. I'd be sober for a little bit and then I'd start drinking again. Don't know why. Still don't know why, to be honest with you. But 13 years ago, I woke up and thought, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot. Well, that was, like I said, July 20th, 2012. On July 27th, 2012, I woke up and I thought, you know what? I mean, this is what popped into my mind because I remember it like it was yesterday. I feel like a new man. And I was writing in a journal at that time, and that's actually what I wrote in my journal was, I feel like a new man. Well, I got up, shaved, took a shower just immediately. I made my bed. I was going to a 6:30 in the morning meeting. I was like, darn, you know. Well, it dawned on me about a month after that I hadn't thought about having a drink. And that's all I thought about all day, every day before was getting a drink. And because that's what I did. I just drank. And so what I figured out was that on July 27th, 2012, I had a spiritual awakening. Something in my mind, that something connected, and I had a white light experience during the night, and I hadn't thought about having a drink since. Doesn't bother me now. I'm not a one drink person. I've never had just one drink. If I'm gonna drink to get drunk. And so it's been 13 years, and it's been a great 13 years. Actually, about 6 weeks after I quit drinking, maybe 2 months, I actually got a job working for somebody. And I kept that job for 8 years until I decided to go start my own accounting firm. And it's amazing what not drinking will do for you. Not drinking no alcohol at all, no drugs, nothing. So I'm just here to tell you, if you think you have a problem with drinking, you probably do. I can't tell you whether you're an alcoholic or not. Only you can tell yourself that. But the first step in Alcoholics Anonymous is to admit that you're an alcoholic and that your life is unmanageable. Mine was. And you may think you got it all together, but just word to the wise, it may catch up with you. Not everybody that drinks a lot is an alcoholic. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're struggling and you need help, reach out to me. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, on YouTube. Reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to talk to you and tell you about my experience, strength, and hope. But I do, if you have a problem, if you think you do, at the first step, go to AA. You'll be amazed. The people you'll meet, all walks of life. You just never know. So here I am 13 years later at sunrise, sober, ready to start my day. That's my house. I got a little farm now. I didn't have anything 13 years ago except my house in town, and I was fixing to lose it. I had blown through all my money, all my retirement, everything. So I basically started over at 52 years old. So I'm gonna be working for a while because I got a long way to go. But I have a great relationship with my kids. I have a great relationship with my ex-wife. She's not my ex anymore. We got remarried 6 years ago. So things happen when you get sober. And I tell you what, it's a great life. You don't have to drink to have a good time. And there's nothing that can happen today that would make me take a drink. Nothing. And I don't want a drink. I told you, I'm not a one drink drinker. So, but there's nothing today because I can play that tape through and I know what it's gonna do to me. So I'm here to encourage you. If you're trying to get sober, keep trying. I'm celebrating. I've got a great life and I know you can too. If you're having issues, like I said, reach out to me and do me a favor. Have a great day. See ya. Bye.